Hi, my name is Keeley Turner, and I've come to take over Hugh's studio to talk to you about Vanilla Lily Part 2 and Part 3. I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks of filmmaking. You're going to learn a little bit about French history and my thought process when creating Vanilla Lily. So we're going to have like this little watch party and watch Vanilla Lily together, and I'm going to break down each scene for you. So let's dive in. Okay, so we have started the scene off by Lily, played by Joelle, dancing along the Seine River. Very similar to what we did in the pilot, but this time we're in front of the Seine instead of the Louvre. This is very popular for plein air painters to bring all of their supplies out into the wild and paint what they see. I actually painted this piece. Growing up, I would always paint. I loved that. As I grew older, I kind of put that on the wayside and focused more on filmmaking. In this piece, I really wanted to paint something as a prop for Lily. I painted this without knowing the location or where we were gonna film. And once we did some actually, not even when we did location scouting, like day of this production day, I look out and I'm just like, an epiphany hit me. Oh my God, this image is literally the same as the backdrop. It's moments like those when you just kind of just go with the flow and things just kind of serendipitously happen. As artists, we've all been there, frustrated with our art at some point. And for me, I wanted to demonstrate that pain. When you look in the background, you actually see this street sweeper. And you see our PA, Thomas, offer the street sweeper guys some French donuts as like a bribe not to spray Joelle, our actress, in the back with the water. I was so nervous in this moment. I just kept rolling with it. You know, you never know what you're going to catch. And so I just kept rolling to see what would happen. And actually, I think this was the most interesting take. There's so much going on in this scene. This coverage was actually kind of complicated because there were so many onlookers, there were so many people. It was actually really stressful filming in Paris. People would literally look at the camera at certain times. I mean, we were creating a spectacle. When you have a boom on a side street or whatever, it can be challenging. But you know what? The cool thing is that actually with shooting in Paris, we actually didn't have to pay for a permit, which was phenomenal. My producer, Sofia, she figured out that we didn't need to pay for a permit because our crew was so small that we didn't need one. We didn't need to block off any streets or anything like that. So actually it was really quite economical to film on the streets in Paris. In this moment, we see Lily entering into this kind of posh gallery antique shop, and the manager just gives her this side eye. When writing this, I was thinking about the time that I worked at an art gallery in Aspen, and actually the manager was totally like this. Like, if you didn't look like you have money, and he was not going to waste time on giving you a spiel on all the antique stuff or the painting stuff. So I wanted to kind of emulate that feeling of walking into somewhere stuffy. We've all been to those places where we don't feel quite welcome or a warm greeting, and I wanted to have that feel as she entered into this gallery. But she doesn't care. She's following her heart and looking around. All right, we see Lily being drawn into this painting. It is different from everything else in the room, in the store. It is a painting, like a Rococo painting. And I actually have it right here with me. So this is the actual prop that we used in France. I could not take the frame with me because it would not fit my luggage. I will say the scene feels so calm and tranquil at this moment, in a stark contrast between Paris and the field. It's so different than what we've shown you so far, shown the viewer. And I really love that contrast. And the colors seem different. The colors, we really wanted to play with the color here, especially with her dress. And so what we did was do a little bit more saturation, a little bit more dreamy feeling to the color to give you that sense of, oh my God, something has changed.
Madame?
Here comes this man out of nowhere, out of this, what we call gazebo in the US, that was actually there. We did not bring in this prop or anything. We were just utilizing what was on the location. Okay, this is a beautiful scene. We set up right next to a pear tree. This was actually on the grounds of the location. I was so excited to find this pear tree. And then soon, we did coverage in this scene, which we normally don't do in VR. So I really loved that opportunity to film the whole scene from this angle and then film from the other side. It rained the whole day before this shoot. This was our third day shooting. So the ground was soaked. Our crew members brought us out a tarp to put down underneath the blanket so that way it wouldn't get completely soaked. I mean, it would have gotten soaked if we'd put it on the grass.
It's just not what I ever thought was possible, jumping from one time period to another.
We were filming this scene at the moment that Pierre is in this fear feeling, this frightened, heightened feeling of finding out that this woman is a time traveler. All of a sudden this bee comes and I chose to work with it. So in post, I added a little bit of sound effects to heighten that moment. And it worked in our favor. So I was really grateful to that bee to be in the film.
It's all right.
Thank you. This is your château?
Okay, so this scene is where you see where Pierre lives. This is a chateau that we actually rented in the Loire Valley. I did some digging before I even had a producer, and I found this chateau on Airbnb. You too can rent this Airbnb. I saw so many pictures that they had posted on Airbnb. It was fantastic. It is honestly my secret to getting a location, because they put so many photos up and it was perfect. And actually the owners were open to it, and we were very much respective of the place. So when you see the grounds, this is of the Airbnb, there's all these different areas that we can film, and it was just quite magical. And actually my producer Servant did some digging because we needed some extra space outside of the chateau for our talent to stay comfortably. And actually across the street, and we're literally in the middle of nowhere, right, in the Loire Valley, like there's a lot of vineyards and things like that, like it is farmland. And funny enough, it just worked out perfectly that there were these cottages across the street that the talent could stay in. It was absolutely perfect. And they slept well in great air-conditioned rooms and little cottages in a vineyard. And the rest of the crew and I stayed at the chateau, which was quite creepy, but nevertheless super beautiful and full of charm, as you will see. One of the things that I really, really wanted to offer my lead actress, Joelle, the opportunity to bring her family along. She was newly a mother of one daughter and a newborn, and I wanted to give her the opportunity to bring her whole family onto set every day, so she could take care of her daughter in between takes, which I think is a new modern way of filmmaking, realizing and making sure and your actors are comfortable on set and taken care of, basically. And I was so happy to do that for Joelle and her family. And it was so cool to see her partner so supportive of her creative endeavors. So the least I could do was support her as she supported me in this creative endeavor. So anyway, I just really want to mention that when there is opportunity, when you're on set, to make your talent lives happier and easier and less stressful, you will get so much more out of the experience as a team together. And I just think that's the way to go with filmmaking.
I'm here most of the time on my own. All my friends are in Paris, and it gets very lonely.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay, don't worry. I have all this wine I get to drink on my own, which is lovely. Now, careful. There's a really massive goose shit here. There it is. Steady on.
So this dialogue was not written in the script at all, but I kept rolling. I was listening from across the field to every little detail that was going on, and I was cracking up. I would tell you, listening in the headphones to their dialogue, their conversation, it was gold. And when your actors give you something so real and playful, use it. I just love those moments. It's a collaborative effort to create something so sweet. I just think it's super cute.
Well, there are more difficult things.
What do you mean?
Given my age, my father has decided I should be wed by the end of the season. To whom, I'm not entirely sure. Though I'm sure my father will make a decision soon. If it were up to me, my choice would have already been made. Behold, the lady of my aspiration.
They're starting to cultivate a genuine friendship, and that was really important to me to make this more of like a platonic relationship. This man is of chivalry, and he is, you know, going to be a good host. And also, he's not on the market, although he kind of is. His father is going to find him a suitable wife while he loves another. And this was typical of this time, that people did not marry for love, but they married for status, keeping the status quo. And so that was very, very common at court. I love this scene that they're starting to cultivate that platonic relationship that I wanted to show. And for that close-up, we actually used an iPhone, like the top spec iPhone. I think it was iPhone 16 Pro Max. It's really hard to get close-ups in immersive filmmaking, and so this was one of our tricks in doing that on set.
Elle est pour moi. And here, your chambre à coucher. I shall go and see what the staff have prepared for supper. Come and join me around 1:30.
Merci beaucoup, Pierre.
It is my privilege to serve as your host, madame.
Okay, it's funny enough. Actually, this was the room that I stayed in, and I chose this room because I knew I wanted to film in it. It looked most of the time period, the 1700s, so I chose this room for that reason. As you can see, some of the furniture is not of the time period, but don't look at it. So this is the very first time that Lily has seen her hair and makeup. It's quite shocking, I would say. So, traversing timelines really did you up, you know what I mean? I just love that concept of going through timelines and you're getting your hair and makeup done in the process. I love that.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, madame. Please, allow me.
Merci, Pierre.
The staff have blessed us with most delightful stew. Please, enjoy.
This is good.
You really think so?
I love this scene. Everything you see, except for on the dinner table, is of the Airbnb. It is fully furnished, kind of in the time period that I was searching for. And this is kind of like my hack of not spending a bajillion dollars on set design, props, and things like that. So with a tight budget, you're always looking for ways to get around it. And we did that by picking a location that already had these opulent things that kind of look of the time period, which I'm sure they are antique. So we're really, really lucky to not have to fully furnish this chateau.
So, what are your dreams, Pierre?
Dreams? You speak rather a lot about dreams.
This theme about dreams, I am obsessed about talking about dreams, though I think that talking about dreams is quite a modern topic. I don't think it was quite common for that time period to talk about your dreams. During that time period of what you wanted to do, you had obligations during that time period. So I think that this whole dream concept is quite a modern one. Okay, this shot is uncomfortable. It is made to be uncomfortable. You see the man, a close-up of him. He's shushing you. He is the first one in this whole film to look into the eyes of the camera, looking into the eyes of the audience. And I really wanted that feeling, that frightening feeling of seeing this character for the first time, staring down the lens at you and witnessing you, the audience member. That's really interesting concept to me for this character. You will see why soon.
Let her go!
This shot was a happy accident. I love this shot. We had to do this shot in this way due to the rain. This particular camera setup could not go in the rain, and so this was second best. I thought of framing Lily in the doorway. It's interesting. It's kind of a parallel to the portal that she went through. She's stuck in this time period. She's stuck through the portal, and she is stuck in the grasp, in the grips of this mysterious man with a sword to her throat.
Pray do stay calm. I do not intend to hurt you, my cher. Mark my words.
So right there, I was playing around with sound design to give that feeling that this person is not human. There is something supernatural about this person. And I'm so fascinated by the supernatural in this moment, this unhumanistic way that he moves. And I think that these two actors made some great choices here. In a split second, the way she moves away from him and the way she stumbles in this stupor, this trance state that she's in.
We shall pay for this. I invite you to make the attempt.
The music is a strong choice. I agree, but it's metal while metal is clinging. Okay, silly pun, I know, but I love it. I secretly love metal, and I will say I am heavily influenced by the Anne Rice books / movies. Interview with the Vampire, Queen of the Damned. I grew up watching those movies, and, it's kind of this Queen of the Damned moment that is happening in this scene with the metal, with the juxtaposition of the costumes and things like that. So I just love this scene. And actually the guys had so much fun with this scene too. Doing the choreo. We had a phenomenal stunt coordinator, Lorenzo, and he was so phenomenal in teaching the guys step by step the choreo for the sword fight, and having his expertise was so valuable. And these swords were prop swords, which was really nice to have on the set. But yeah, I think the guys really got into the sword fight, which was pretty darn fun, I have to say.
You're better than that. Fine.
This was one of the last shots of the day because we had to add blood makeup to his face. And so, you know, we only had like 1 or 2 takes to get this right. Our makeup artist rushed in to put in the fake blood and we got the shot. And then we had fun with VFX. Our VFX guy, he was phenomenal in making that makeup go away. This mysterious man, he's not after winning this fight. He honestly doesn't want to bring harm to someone, but he wants to send a clear message. But that message isn't quite clear yet. And that's where this prop comes into play. You see this prop fly out of his pocket while he runs away into the distance. And I just love that visual. You can see him running through the trees into the distance. And I thought that turned out quite nicely. And Pierre is so shocked and so confused and immediately sees this letter that falls out of his pocket and grabs it instantly to gather any kind of information he can about this mysterious man.
Lily! Lily! I pray that you're all right.
I'm okay. Are you okay?
I'm all right. Come on. Come on, let's get you inside. Come on.
This prop is so deeply important to the storyline, and you'll find out why in the next episode. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive of Vanilla Lily, episode 2. I had so much fun talking about this episode in detail, what I was thinking about, historical facts, you know, the things I would think about as the director, why I wrote things into the script, what my thought process was, why props were so important to the story. I just had a blast creating Vanilla Lily Part 2, and so stay tuned for our deep dive in Part 3.